This is a new series. It is called Rants from a Crazy Gen Xer. My name's Natalie, and I am your crazy Gen Xer. And these are my rants. Today, October 1st, 2025, we are going to talk about government shutdown. Who cares? I'm sick and tired of caring about this, okay? The Democrats are dumb as fuck. Okay, I am so sick and tired of these motherfuckers. They're constantly filling bullshit, okay? The people want to stop funding genocide. So they want to shut down the government and pretend it's something over healthcare, which they'll probably fold on anyways because they just don't have the balls that the Republicans do, for whatever reason, okay? I remember the Republicans holding out and holding out and holding out. You know? Democrats aren't willing to do that. They just give in and say, oh, we'll just go along with whatever they want. I am done voting for them people. I'll vote for nobody. I'll write none on my ballot sheet. I'm not giving my vote to the Republican candidate unless the Republican candidate can come out and say they are unwilling to give the foreign nation of Israel, which is a terrorist state, by the way, who has been terrorizing since the beginning. You know, and that's another freaking rant. These people, as they were sitting there saying never again, were currently eliminating and committing genocide upon an entire population. They could create their own country. As they're telling us never again, they're holding people basically hostage. They're putting people into concentration camps, putting people into death camps, because some of them were death camps. They're throwing people in torture camps. They fight their courts to be able to rape Palestinians. Who the hell fucking does that shit? But nevertheless, we have all the money in the world to give to this nation that is committing terror in the region. But we cannot afford to provide health care for the people of the United States of America. I don't have health care insurance. Okay, if I get sick, which I don't go to the doctor, I try to treat my stuff. I'm very vigilant. I am one of these people. I do not drink after anybody, including my husband. I don't hang out with people, especially those who have children, because children are, and I hate to say it this way, but children are a cesspool of germs. Okay? Always touching everything, always shoving everything in their mouth, okay? They're constantly doing that. So I don't do that, okay? I don't go around them, and I very rarely get sick. And the slightest little tickle in my throat, the sniffles in my nose, I take Sudafed, okay? And now I have to go and, which really irks me, I have to go to the pharmacy and fill out all this paperwork to get the Sudafed. And I wanted some little red pills. I remember my father buying them in little bottles where you could buy 100 of them. I can't even go in and buy a large box. I don't know, one person at a Safeway, one of the pharmacy people did give it to me a couple years ago. It lasted a year, okay? But now I'm like able to get 25, 50 pills at a time. I need a larger thing of it because, like I said, any little thing I take it. And I usually only have to take it once, maybe 2 mornings, and in the morning I take it, and maybe twice I take it. And then I don't take it again for weeks, maybe even a couple months go by and I don't need it. And then I do it again, And then if my throat hurts, I only use Sucrets cough drops. I will swear by those, okay? Those are the best cough drops on the market. I order them online because I live in the ghetto, and I guess because I live in the ghetto, I am unable to go to any of my local stores to pick them up. They may have them up north where it's a nicer neighborhood, but I don't live up there, and I don't really travel up that way, and I'm not up there that often. And when I am up there, I'm really not looking for cough drops. Okay? I do at my local store when I'm out shopping, but I haven't really been like grocery shopping and hunting around for things and needing them. They used to sell them, and then they stopped selling them at the grocery store, and then I could pick them up at the Walgreens, but then they stopped selling them at the Walgreens. Now our Walgreens is closed. And, I think once or twice I've been able to get them at the Walmart, but the Walmart here stopped selling them as well. I don't even know why. I think it's a conspiracy against people who want this particular brand, because this particular brand is the one that works. And so I just order them online, and sometimes I have to wait 3 weeks for them to come in. Sometimes I can get them earlier, just depending on how Amazon wants to work it. And then, I don't want to give all my money to Amazon, but the reality is that if they have the cheapest system and it works at the time, I have to do what I have to do. I'm poor, so that's what happens. But back to the shutdown. Donald Trump's like, oh yeah, we're going to shut the government down, and I'm going to fire all these people, cancel all these programs, shut everything. So be it. Do it. Because you want to know what? There are poor Republicans too. And in fact, Republican states are poorer. Okay? By far poorer. They're going to end up closing rural hospitals, and so when the Trump supporter who's, unwilling to go get birth control because they don't believe in birth control, has their 8th child, okay, they're going to have to drive 2 towns over up to the city, which is a lot of times over an hour drive, to give birth to that baby. Let them. Let them do it. They want to fire all these federal employees. A lot of federal employees are Republicans too. Let them, okay? It's going to sour the Republican Party, okay? Which the Republican Party is already soured. Donnie the Holocauster isn't going out and, creating new friends and stuff. He said he was going to put America first and Americans first, but no, he's not. He's putting the terrorist nation of Israel, or the fucking Luku people, okay? He's putting them above the American citizens. Because apparently, $100 million makes you do many things. And it makes you certainly tell the American people they can go screw themselves while you give all of your money to a foreign country so that they can murder innocent babies. And yes, they talk about murdering innocent babies because they love to murder innocent babies for whatever reason. Anyways, that's for another rant for another day, but I say let them. They want to shut the government down, let them. They want to fire all these middle class and upper middle class people, go ahead, fire them. Okay? It will hurt the economy very quickly. Everything is expensive now. Okay? People are spending $300, $400 a week to feed one person. Sure, you could do it cheaper. Okay? But a lot of people don't want to do it cheaper. They go around and just eat what they normally eat. I myself spend quite a bit of money on just buying things. And I find, and I'm going to be honest with you, I find that fruits and vegetables, having to get, fruits and vegetables, that is where a lot of my money goes. I buy meat on sale, and yes, meat is extremely expensive. I paid $21 for 3 pounds of ground beef, and this is ground beef, okay? One of the cheapest things that you can buy. You go into the store and you look up for cube steaks. They wanted like $8 a pound for that stuff. Cube steak is the cheapest cut of meat Okay, it's probably the same stuff they make ground beef out of. And maybe, it's one slab of meat, so it might be a little bit different. But the truth of the matter is, it's the same thing, as like ground beef. They want like $8 a pound for that crap. I am not paying $8 a pound for that. And so my husband does not get country fried steak. That's just the reality of it. He does love it. And maybe if I find it on sale or I find it in the clearance bin of meat, I'll go ahead and pick it up and make it for him. But for the most part, I just don't make it. Okay? As far as like ribeye steaks, the holidays are coming up. And let me tell you how that fucking works, okay? Around Christmas time, you can get a rib roast, okay? For $5.50 to $6.50 a pound. Okay, let's hope it holds. Maybe it will go down back to like $4.50 where it was a few years ago. Okay, but if you go ahead and you buy that, you cut your ribs off. Okay, just cut them off, and then you can have beef ribs, and that's so good. And then you can cut your steaks, and package them up, freeze them, you get a whole bunch of it. Yes, you have to spend, I think one was like, we bought 2 last year, and I think we paid $120 for one and $150 for the other. So you spend about $150 on this slab of meat, and then you cut a bunch of steaks up, and you have them, and you have ribs. I mean, granted, it's a bigger upfront cost, and sometimes people can't afford that, and I feel bad, but maybe if you really want that, you can find people who want to go in on it with you, and you can split it up that way to reduce the cost. That is an option. Another thing I like to do during the holidays, like Thanksgiving's coming up, I buy my turkeys, sure, if we got some, I keep saying I'm going to go to the food banks and get some free turkeys, but that's not really true. I mean, they're not the most convenient, but some people, they have all the time in the world and they can do that. And so be it. If you can do that and you can hit 2 or 3 different no-ask, food banks, pick up 3 or 4 different turkeys, you can cut them up and you can save them and cook them during the year. I'll tell you one thing that I really like to make is buffalo turkey wings. I think they're great. And you don't need as many as the chicken wings. I find the turkey meat to be a little bit sweeter than the chicken meat. So, yeah. But yeah, so there's that. Okay? And that's all I got for the daily rant from the Gen Xer. I'm Natalie. I'm your crazy Gen Xer. And have a great day.